morning, students. Welcome back to your English language online class. Today I am going to teach you adjectives and degrees of comparison. So let's start. Now children, first let us understand what is the job of an adjective or what are adjectives. Now adjectives are those words that describe a noun or a pronoun. Now nouns can be common noun like table, chair, car, etc. Noun can be proper noun like Delhi, Agra, Lucknow, or name of a person like Aman, etc. And noun can also be collective noun like people. Okay, so adjective describes noun and pronoun. Pronouns are it, they, he, she, etc. Okay. Now, adjectives also gives us information about a thing or a person. Alright? Now, let us read these sentences and find out adjectives in the following sentences. Now see, first sentence. Suman is a beautiful girl. Now, in this sentence, first let us spot the noun. Now, what are the nouns in this sentence? Suman is a noun and girl is a noun. Now see, beautiful, a word beautiful is used to describe the noun girl. Alright, so this is a describing word that is describing the noun girl. So beautiful will be an adjective. Okay, now see the second sentence. Aman told us a funny story. Now in this sentence, let us first spot the nouns. What are the nouns in this sentence? Aman and story. Okay. Now, this word funny is describing the noun story. Now, story is a common noun, Aman is a proper noun. And this word funny is describing the noun story. So, I told you a noun, a word that describes a noun is an adjective. So, in this sentence, funny is an adjective. Okay. Now, third sentence. The day was sunny. Now, first let us spot the noun in this sentence. What is the noun in this sentence? Day. Now, day is a common noun. And this noun, this day is described by using the word sunny. So, sunny is an adjective. So, now children, let us discuss about some different types of adjectives. Now first let us talk about adjectives of quality. Now what are adjectives of quality? Now adjectives of quality are adjectives used to describe the nature or quality of a noun or subject. Okay? Let us see some of the examples. Example number 1. He wore a silk tie. Now in this sentence, what is the noun? Tie is the noun. And silk, the word silk is used to describe the noun tie. So we know that silk is an adjective. Now, silk is telling about the quality of the tie. It is telling us that what kind of a tie it is. It is made up of silk. So silk will be adjective of quality. Okay? Second sentence. We had a tasty meal at the canteen. Now in this sentence, what is the noun? Meal and canteen. So tasty is used to describe the noun meal. So we know that tasty is an adjective. Now tasty is telling us that the meal that we had at the canteen was, it is telling about the kind, about the type of the meal they had, about the quality of the meal. So tasty will be adjective of quality. Now let us talk about the second type of adjective, that is adjectives of quantity. Now what is adjective of quantity? Adjective of quantity are adjectives that tells us the amount or number of an uncountable noun. Now we all know what is an uncountable noun? A noun that cannot be counted. So any adjective that tells us about the amount and number of an uncountable noun will be the adjective of quantity. Now let us see some of the examples. Example number 1. We had some snacks in the evening. So in this sentence, snacks is an uncountable noun and some will be the adjective of quantity. Similarly, second sentence, there were many fish in the river. Now fish here is an uncountable noun and many is used to tell us about the quantity of fish, that how many fish. It answers the question how many. So many will be the adjective of quantity. Now let us talk about adjectives of number. Now adjectives of number are adjectives that specify the number or amount of a countable noun. What is a countable noun? A noun that can be counted. So any word that specifies the number or amount of a countable noun is the adjective of number. Now let us see some of the examples. Now see the first example. There are 6 members in my family. Now here the word 6 is used to tell about the total members in a family. So we can count the members of a family and 6 is used to describe the noun. So 6 will be the adjective of number. Okay. Now second, Ritu has a few biscuits in her bag. Now in this sentence, the word few is used to tell about the number of biscuits in Ritu's bag. Okay. And we can count the biscuit. Biscuit is a countable noun. So few will be the adjective of number. Okay. Now let us talk about demonstrative adjectives. Now what are demonstrative adjectives? Demonstrative adjectives are adjectives that specify a particular person, place or thing. When we talk about a specific person, place or thing, then that adjective is known as demonstrative adjective. Now let us see some of the examples. First example, that bus goes to the city. Now we are talking about a specific bus. So that will be demonstrative adjective. Similarly, second sentence, those boys are my cousins. Now we are talking about specific people or person. Okay, so those will be a demonstrative adjective. Now let us talk about interrogative adjectives. Now an adjective that asks a question is interrogative adjectives. Interrogative adjective is used with a noun to ask a question. Now the sentence, you have to remember that the sentence that has interrogative adjective always ends with a question mark. Let us see some of the examples. First one, whose bag is it? Now this sentence is asking a question and see, whose is used with the noun bag. So whose will be the interrogative adjective. Now second, which color do you like? Now in this sentence, color is a noun and which is used to ask a question, right? So which will be an interrogative adjective. Now let us talk about possessive adjectives. Now what are possessive adjectives? Possessive adjectives are adjectives that are used to show possession. Possession means ownership or belonging. Okay. It comes before the noun and tells us to whom the noun belongs. It will be more clear from the examples. Let us see the example. First one. This is my house. Now I told you that possessive adjective comes before the noun. What is the noun in this sentence? House. And before house what comes? My. And my is telling that this house belongs to me. So it is telling about belonging. It is telling about the ownership. So my will be a possessive adjective. Okay. Now second. We went to their school. Now school is a noun and before the noun the word there is used and there is telling that the school belongs to them. So there will be a possessive adjective. Similarly, third sentence. You should finish your meal. Now in this sentence, what is the noun? Meal. And I told you possessive adjectives comes before the noun. And your is telling that this meal belongs to you. So your will be the possessive adjective. So children, I hope you have understood the adjectives and the different kinds of adjectives. Now I am going to teach you degrees of comparison. When adjectives are used to compare people or objects, we use the degrees of comparison. Okay, now there are 3 degrees of comparison. First is the positive degree. Now positive degree is the basic uncompared form of an adjective. Second is the comparative degree. We use comparative degree when we compare 2 people or objects. And finally the third is the superlative degree. We use the superlative degree when we compare 3 or more people or objects. Now let us see some ways in which we form the comparative adjective. Now first one, loud. Loud can be written in the comparative form by adding er. So it becomes louder, and in the superlative form it can be written by adding est. So loud becomes loudest. Second, by adding r and st. So brave can be written in the superlative in the comparative form by adding r. So it becomes braver, and it can be written in the superlative form by adding st. So it becomes bravest. Third, by removing the y and adding ier and iest. Now see, if the adjective ends with a y, then we remove y in the comparative form and we add ier. So tricky becomes trickier in the comparative form, and in the superlative form we remove y and we add iest. So tricky becomes trickiest in the superlative form. Then fourth, by doubling the final consonants and adding er and est. See, dim. Now dim in the comparative form we double the consonant m. So in the comparative form we write dim as dimmer. We have double the consonants, double m is used. And in the superlative form we add est along with the doubling of consonants. So dim in the comparative form becomes dimmer, and in the superlative form becomes dimmest. Then fifth one, by using more and most. Now grateful. Grateful can be written as more grateful in the comparative form and most grateful in the superlative form. Then there are some irregular adjectives and irregular comparisons like little. Now little, the comparative form of little is less and the superlative form is least. Similarly, another irregular comparison is of good. Comparative form of good is better and the superlative form of good is best. Now, when we compare 2 things that are the same, we use as plus adjective plus as. It will be clear from the example. See the first example. This book is as good as that one. Now we are comparing 2 things that are same. We are comparing 2 books. Okay. So for that kind of comparison we use as plus adjective plus as. So here we have written this book is as good as that one. Similarly, second example. Maya is as smart as Ravi. Now here we are comparing 2 people with So we have used as, for comparison we have used as plus the adjective plus as. So it becomes Maya is as smart as Ravi. Now, sometimes instead of the comparative degree, we use not when comparing two things that are different. So when we compare two things that are different, we may use not. So in such cases, we use not as plus the adjective plus as. It will be clear from the example. Now see. In this sentence, the house is not as big as the school. Now in this sentence, we are comparing two things that are different. We are comparing house and school. So we have used not as plus the adjective big plus as. So it becomes the house is not as big as the school.